Okay, so I want to talk about this elitist cult culture in the church cult of Dagwood Mills. Churches go by First Love, Mustard Seed Chapel International, Pleasant Surprises, Mustard Seed Chapel International, Christ Cathedral, and formerly known as Lighthouse Chapel International. We've seen this elitist cult culture in the weddings of high-ranking members of Dagwood Mills cult. So the emergence of this phenomenon in the cult started when Joshua Eward Mills married his wife. And here you could see it was just overly done. They were trying to give that kind of real royalty kind of vibe to it, you know, because they've been grooming the church to receive Joshua Eward Mills as the new kind of like founding, presiding bishop of First Love Church cult. And they've also emulated Bishop Dag and his wife, Lady Reverend Adelaide. You can see here that Joshua and his wife are an absolute clone of Dag Eward Mills and his wife, Adelaide Eward Mills. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, back to this wedding. It was just overdone to the point where they had a Facebook page to put all of their wedding photos on there. And can you see there's like 8K followers and they're following no one, like they're celebs. Also, I wanted to mention here the distinguished guests. You've got the ex-president Rowlands there, Duncan Williams. You know, these are like important people in Ghana. So it's like giving that elitist culture. Do you get what I mean? So now you can say, oh, this is just a coincidence. But on the UDOLGC archives, there's wedding pictures, right? And this is a man called Bishop Interfal's daughter, right? He's another high-ranking bishop. So you're starting to see a theme where anyone who's anyone is at these high-ranking, elitist kind of weddings. You can clearly see it here. Here's another example. This is Bishop Addy's son, John Dag. Bishop Addy is actually a founding pastor of Bishop Dag Eward Mills cult in the 80s. So this is another high-ranking bishop in the church cult. And you could just see it's the same thing. It's the same theme. It's the same high-ranking members. Anyone who's anyone in Ghana is there. Again, it's just showing, you know, that elitist cult culture in the church. And we really see it come out in the weddings because obviously that's showing the culture. That's showing their status. And one of Dr. Yanya Lalich's characteristics of a cult says that a cult has an elitist culture. And so we really see that in the weddings. So now this is where it gets interesting, yeah? Catch the tea. So Bishop Asari's son married Pastor Obi's daughter. Yeah, these are two very high-ranking pastors in the church, yeah? And the kids were brought up like brothers and sisters. So what we're seeing is like these marriages that are almost like to keep this royal blood in the cult church. Because the church has such an elitist mindset, they try and keep all the marriages in the cult. So it's almost giving, you know, this like royalty kind of rich, elitist kind of vibe that they're trying to do here. And I've put on other videos explaining this. But they also do this at a ground level, even with just normal church members that join, where they want people to marry inside the church. And they've got shepherdorial linking, which is basically arranged marriages. And again, you see here, this is Bishop Richard Aye's daughter of First Love Church. Again, it's just the same thing with the grandiose vibe that they're trying to do. She tried to do this Meghan Markle type of vibe to look like royalty. So you can see here that they do that. And again, it's just so much money that they spend on the dress and the actual wedding. Yet Richard encouraged so many people to get married in his back office and to get married in basketball sports halls and to tell us that we were backslidden and unspiritual if we spent like 15K and 10K on a wedding. But here his daughter is having a very expensive wedding. And last but not least, we've got Dag Eward Mills' daughter, Daniela, who got married recently. And it's like she's never stepped foot in the church a day in her life. But here she is with her husband. Do you know how many women have been shelved in that church? Do you know how many women are there in their 30s and haven't been married? But here's another arranged marriage for the books. All the trolls have been asking me if I'm a Christian. Is she a Christian? Because here Archbishop Duncan Williams is doing the service. I've never seen this girl step foot in that church. I've never seen her lead praise and worship. I've never seen her do a thing, but here the extinguished guests are. So you're seeing this theme again. Do you know what I mean? This elitist cult culture. She doesn't have to be in the church because it's not a church, it's a cult. So this is just getting celebrated because it's Bishop Dag Eward Mills' daughter. And here's Bishop Dag and Bishop Richard looking like cult leaders. I mean, textbook. I don't know what this woman's doing, but she's praying over Daniela's husband. You know, as I said, this girl hasn't stepped for a day in her life in the church. And women are being branded strange women and whatnot. Oh, but there's different rules for Dag Eward Mills' daughter. Again, because it's a cult, elitist culture that we're seeing. It's not a church, it's a cult, period.